If you have the notes already and you already know what CSS is and does, you can skip ahead a little bit to watch the demo. I'm going to review it real fast here though. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and it essentially just adds style to web pages. So that includes all the colors and crazy font styles and sizes and things like that. It's composed of three main parts. You can see in the middle here, selector, property, and value. That's referred to as the syntax, and that's just the order that it always has to be in for it to work. So just check your notes and keep this in mind, that selector is always first, then the property, and then the value. And if you check your notes sheets, you have lists of possible selectors, property, and values. You need to know three new things: the curly brackets here, colon, and the semicolon. So find those, get familiar with them on your keyboard because you'll need those for every one. And this is located in the head of the document and uses the style tag. So just an example of what it'll look like. Here's their head section. We already know a title. So the new thing is a style tag, and in between these tags, the open and close style, is your style rule. So right here, the P, which is the paragraph tag, that's the selector. So it's going to change all of the paragraphs. The property is font size, so it's going to change the size of the font in the paragraphs, and the 18 pixels is the value. So it's going to change the font size of all the paragraphs to 18 pixels. So to show you how it works, I have a kind of a fake document here about baseball. We're just going to style it. So in the browser it looks like this. It's pretty boring, what you're used to right now, the black and white text, just kind of nothing fancy. So back in your code, we have the new style tag, which goes in the head, so make sure your open style and close style is in between the head tags. And in between the style tags, we're going to type our first line. So let's just go back to the example I showed you earlier. We'll change the font size of the paragraphs. So the first thing we need is our selector, and the selector is just the tag of the keyword of the tag that you're going to use. So for the P tag, the only letter is P, so we're going to type P. No angle brackets in CSS. Space, curly bracket. It's located kind of near the backspace key. It's different on every keyboard. Then we need the property. So what are we going to change about the paragraphs? The font size. So it's font hyphen size. Then we do a colon, which separates the property and the value. And the next thing we need is a value. So I'm going to go 18, and we have to say pixels. And we end it always with a semicolon and then our angle bracket, our curly bracket. So save. We'll go check our file. When you refresh it, you can see the text gets bigger. So back in the code, let's try something else. Let's try to change the color. Everyone wants to jump towards that. So we're going to do the entire website's color, not just a section of it, the entire thing. So the tag for that would be the body, because the body is the entire web page that you see. So the selector is going to be body because that's the keywords of the body tag. Curly bracket. And we need to do background dash color. That's the property. We're changing the background color of the body. The colon. And let's change it to blue. End it with a semicolon. End it with our curly bracket. We'll save it. Hit Control S or the save icon up here. Go back to our browser and hit refresh. You can see it changed to blue. Do one more for practice. Now let's change again all of the paragraphs, but instead of the size, we'll change the color. You don't need to add a new line. So we already selected the P here. So after the semicolon, we can space and add a new property and value. So let's do color. That'll change the text color. Colon separates the property and value. And now let's go with white. End it with a semicolon. Let's save it. Go to our browser and hit refresh. You can see it changed to white. So there's a bunch of different combinations for this. Just make sure it's always in these style tags in the head.